Does the new Fantastic Four movie break the downward spiral that the MCU has been in lately? More importantly, is it better than the other 3 attempts that are out there? Join us today to find out. This is the Geek Cabal channel. If you've not been here before, I'm Bobby.
I'm Jim.
And today we're going to be talking about the new Fantastic Four movie, Fantastic Four First Steps.
Yes.
We just got done watching it about an hour ago, give or take, hour and a half. So it's our relatively fresh thoughts on the movie here.
So we'll try to do the spoiler-free portion here in the beginning so that it, at some point, I don't know if we'll put a timestamp, but we'll let you know definitely when we're going to be stepping into the spoiler zones.
Yeah, I determine those kind of things in editing, and it usually is depending on how long the video is. So, like if this somehow only ends up being a 10-minute video, there won't be a timestamp. But if this is the usual sprawlingness that we get into, there'll probably be timestamps.
Yeah, we don't plan any of this stuff out. I mean, you should know that by now if you've been, watching our channel. Which
yeah, and we even actually have a whiteboard for notes now, but it's blank because we just got done watching the movie. So
yeah. Though, I guess initial thoughts.
Yeah, I liked the movie. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a 10 out of 10 or anything, but like it's definitely entertaining, definitely worth a watch in my opinion.
Aesthetically, I thought it was a good setting. Something that definitely differentiates it from the other MCU films.
Yeah, I don't think what I'm about to say is a spoiler. Like, literally in the first 5 minutes of the movie, it tells you it's a different Earth. So it's clear that it's not the one that all the other movies are taking place on.
Because, even if it hadn't, I mean, the fact that nobody's mentioned this group of people and any,
Yeah. Yes, so the problem the X-Men are ultimately going to face if they don't reboot before they introduce them. So,
but no, I was going to say aesthetically, I thought the characters looked the part. I mean, again, that's not spoilers because pretty much you've seen them if you've watched any of the trailers at all, you've seen the characters. Yeah. I thought they looked pretty good. I did like how they handled the Human Torch. Because I wondered what they were going to do. Because like in the first movie, they had to have this whole monologue about his suit had to be like fire resistant.
Yeah.
And they kind of handled that very, very well.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a spoiler.
I don't think it'd be spoilers to say that like they do not spend a lot of time on the origin. Like they come really close to assuming you know it. Like there's a little bit, but like there's not some long drawn out like. This is definitely in line with what James Gunn said at some point. This isn't one of the specific scenes he mentioned, but he mentioned that there's 3 things that comic book movies never need to include ever again. Seeing the Waynes killed in Crime Alley, seeing Spider-Man get bit by the radioactive spider, and seeing Superman come from Krypton. Now, he actually pulled one of those off in Superman. But yeah, the Fantastic Four, like there's 4 other movies. Yes, there's a 4th one. I'll explain in a moment if you don't know. But there's 4 other movies, the origin's out there. The brief 2 minutes it gets in this movie, that's all it needs. You just need to know they went to space, got exposed to radiation, got powers.
And they did it in a very tasteful way too. Like in a way that for the people that needed a little bit brief lesson, it gave you just enough to bite on, and for everybody else, it's like okay, and it was not long enough. It was not very long. So it was.
Yeah, it's mentioned in the intro, and then a little bit later, there's a little bit of footage from it, like 2-3 minutes, maybe tops, and then back to the movie. So, yeah, there's no lingering on that. There's no. Well, I'll save the other part for later, but remind me, Jim, because there's something that's missing that the other movies opted to include. That's not supposed to be there. So this is closer to canon. But yeah, like I said, I liked it. To address some complaints I heard prior to the movie coming out, I think all the actors were good in their roles. I thought Pedro Pascal was fine as Mr. Fantastic. It's a little off-putting that he didn't get rid of the mustache, since Mr. Fantastic has never been depicted with a mustache, but it is what it is. Cesar Romero didn't get rid of his mustache, and he was fantastic as the Joker. You could even see it through the white face paint. Also on the Lego figure from the 60s Batman Batmobile, it's got the little speckles right there to look like he has the mustache under there. Love Lego's attention to detail. But no, one of the things I heard was people were criticizing the woman that played Sue Storm because they thought she should be some 20-something, and she's not. And the only reason this kind of matters is because in the comics, Sue is known to be, like, she's a 10. Like, she is a total knockout. Like, so much that Namor's probably invaded New York like 3 times just to try to get his hands on her. And Mr. Fantastic is basically considered one of the luckiest men in the world because his social graces, you would never think that would happen. So it's literally part of her character that she's super attractive. Okay, this isn't me with the male gaze or any of that crap. Like, she's supposed to be. The woman who plays her is quite attractive. Like, anyone complaining about her is blind. Okay, that's all I can say. And on top of that, she was also good in the role. Like, it wasn't just a pretty face, you know. So, just, that's one of the things that, you know, people were complaining about I saw online. It wasn't huge complaints, but it got traction a little bit. And I also saw, like, before the movie came out, people were saying, supposedly, like, oh, she's going to be the leader of the team, and this, that, and the other. No. Mr. Fantastic's the leader of the team. She is given a greater level of agency than she ever was in the 60s or 70s comics. This is a lot closer to, like, the 80s and onward, where she was, you know, a real character that had agency of her own. Like, that's not putting her, she's not the leader of the team, okay? But she is clearly a person that can get things done. She has a life, you know, she does do things. And that's good, you know, that's growth, that's character, you know.
Well, and I think one thing that the movie, I thought it excelled in, was that the interactions between the team and people out in the, you know, out in the real world was, honestly, like, they actually put some thought into it, and that, and there wasn't a, like, hit you in the face message that was being just brought. It was just, let's tell a good story, let's tell the human story, let's talk about how, you know, people would come together in a crisis, and how people would actually react.
Yeah.
And I thought all the banter with the Fantastic Four was good. Nothing over the top. I mean, you didn't have, you know, the Chris Evans and I can't think of...
So Michael Chiklis?
Yes, you didn't quite have, you know, their level of banter, but they did still have it.
By the way, I feel bad that I can remember Michael Chiklis, and I cannot remember the name of the person that played the Human Torch or the Thing in this movie. And it's nothing against them. I don't recognize them as actors. So,
well, and to be honest, I mean, I thought they did all very well, and I think, honestly, having people that you don't just know right off the bat, right off the top of your head is not a bad thing.
Except for Pedro Pascal, who is now in everything. But
yes. They're like, hey, we've got a movie. Okay, I'll do it. Well, hold on.
I would say he's the Nicolas Cage of our modern day, but there's a movie with him and Nicolas Cage in it. Yeah. So, which is a fantastic movie, by the way. I think it's The Unbearable Weight of Awesome Talent or something like that. It's really good. It's hilarious. You folks should watch it. But, yeah, I mean, to Jim's point, like, they felt like a family, you know, and that's like a core thing for the Fantastic Four. You know, it's not like the X-Men, for instance, where they can feel like a family, but it's more like a group brought together by circumstance who have kind of become a family. Like, here, 3 of the people are related to each other. So, like, they really are a family. But, no, there's other, like, there's other little details. I mean, like, I won't explain what, but, you know, Johnny got his moment to shine, like some stuff he was doing on the side. The Thing was more about, like, the neighborhood he's from and everything, and, you know, while they don't outright state it, it's very obvious if you're paying attention that the fact he's Jewish is incorporated into the movie. That is a core part of his character. He's one of the few Marvel characters that's allowed to be overtly religious. So yeah, like those elements were there. You know, Reed being super smart but also quite stupid in the mundane. They nailed that.
Yeah, there's at least one point in the movie where, you know, which, I mean, I get where he's coming from, but it's like, you know, you're married, you should want to stay that way and not do stupid things and say stupid things, and well, but you know, that's Reed. I don't think Reed thinks, you know, that way. He thinks,
no, Reed's social IQ is like single digits. I mean, like his other IQ is off the charts. It's probably immeasurable. Like he's like, you know, Lex Luthor or something. Not evil, but, you know, that level of intellect. Him and Victor are constantly vying for who's the smartest man in Marvel. Victor Von Doom, in case you don't know who I'm talking about. Yeah. So I thought Galactus looked really good.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I thought they could have done. You know, like, again, I think it would have been great if they just made him look like a regular person, because he could look like whatever he wanted to look like.
Yeah, actually, that's a fun thing that they don't mention at all in this movie. And there wasn't really a reason to mention it. This is some little comic book lore for you folks. Whenever he goes to a planet to devour it, he appears like whatever lives on that planet. So whenever he devoured the Skrull throne world, he looked like a gigantic Skrull. Whereas, like, due to normal X-Men time travel shenanigans, they also happened to be there when that was happening, and they saw him as human because it's a psychic image that he projects. I have no idea why. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not going to save anybody. It's not going to make them feel any better. But it's just one of those things.
But no, to your point though, I think he looked really good. I think they should have just I mean, he looked like a person. He just looked like a really dirty person. I mean, he looked more like Mole Man should have looked like.
It's just dirty like that. Well, I mean, he just plowed through a planet, Jim. Like,
yeah. Well, he didn't. His ship did.
Well, okay, yes, but he was in the ship, so. But yeah, the important part is he wasn't a cloud. He was a physical body, came to Earth and started wrecking shit. Like, and that's in the trailer. That's not a spoiler.
Well, that and the other one is that the Fantastic Four did not get their powers by getting into a thing that teleports them to another planet versus actually flying into space.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, no negative zone shenanigans here. But this isn't a complaint. I lodged my complaint before the movie ever came out. I have no idea why it was Shallabal instead of Norrin Rad. Like, there's no logical reason in the story for it, but it is Shallabal, not somehow Norrin Rad as a woman. It is Shallabal. In fact, there was no mention of Norrin Rad, in fact.
And the only reason I could think that would even be a thing is if he comes over to this, if it's in our universe, it would be Norrin Rad.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, it could be that. I think, honestly, it was probably a matter of 3 of the 4 main characters were men. Galactus is a man. They wanted to spice things up a bit, I guess. And I'm not ragging on the fact it was Shallabal. I mean, it was, for the plot of the movie, it was fine. The woman played Shallabal okay. You're basically playing an emotionless robot, so.
With a little hint of emotion in there.
Yes, there was a moment of emotion, and we'll get to that in spoilers. But, yeah. I mean, also looked fantastic. For the most part, I honestly think that the Silver Surfer in the second Fantastic Four movie might have actually looked a little bit better in terms of effects.
Though I was surprised they gave her eyes. Like,
yeah, so this is one very, very minor detail I'm going to mention. Galactus's eyes were wrong. His eyes, the pupils are square whenever you see him in the comics. And like whenever he stopped the glowy blue for a moment, you could see the pupils. Like, I was kind of disappointed that they weren't squares like they're supposed to be. And as well as, like, he's all CG, so why not? Anyway, insanely minor complaint. Didn't detract from the movie in any way, shape, or form. You don't know about it from the comics, it's not going to bother you. If you do know about it from the comics, it's probably still not going to bother you. It shouldn't. It's a pedantic thing, but it's something I noticed. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'd say this movie's... I'd probably give it a solid 7.
That's probably a good place to put it. I mean, I think it's better than the previous 3. The Roger Corman one.
So that's what I was going to mention. There are in total 4 other Fantastic Four movies. There's the 2 that Fox made, and then there was the Fan Four-tastic, or however they did it, that Josh Trank. That was made to keep the rights, basically. That's the really bad one. I actually don't consider the Roger Corman the really bad one. I think it's better than Josh Trank's. And then Roger Corman made one for, I want to say it was Constantine Films had it. I don't know for sure, but it was literally made to keep the rights. And Roger Corman was the only person in the production that knew that. The actors did not know that. They thought they were making a movie that was really going to be released. And then it was like, oh, sorry, not happening. But yeah, I've got a copy. Bought it at Comic-Con. Bootleg copy, obviously, because it was never released. But that one's worth checking out if you're a fan of the Fantastic Four. Yes, it is very cheesy in certain parts. The effects are questionable. Doom actually looks pretty good. Don't know about the acting as far as Doom, but it looked pretty good. it is worth checking out. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a good movie. It's like a 5 at best. But like for a piece of comic book movie history, it's worth checking out. But that's why I said there were 3 previous attempts, because there's that one, the 2 Fox movies, and the Josh Trank one.
You know, I think the only thing that the 2 Fox movies would have had is I think Mr. Fantastic's powers were a bit more accurate than, because and that's one thing I noticed is that, like, even when, you know, anytime he did any of his stretchy stretches, like, they were never really anything over exaggerated.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, and that's the one, you know, yes, the scene where he in the Fox one where he goes and reaches to get the toilet paper.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have anything quite that stretchy in this movie. I mean,
no, not until towards the end,
and not by choice.
Not intentionally, yeah. No, I will say this for the Fox movies, and I don't know if my opinion is like very widespread. I actually thought Julian McMahon was decent as Doom. Like, he wasn't great, but I thought he was decent, you know. But, by the way, he passed away like a week or 2 ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I had a whole string of people here recently. Not going to go into all that, but...
That's going to be for a podcast episode, so...
But yeah, no, that was... I thought he was a highlight of those movies, especially the second one. I thought he was much better in the second one, and he's about the only good thing in the second one. Well, no, I thought the Surfer was good in the second one. And I was finding, you know, Lawrence Fishburne's a good voice for him and everything. You know, it looked great. But the whole Galactus being a cloud just completely torpedoes that movie for me. Like, nope, zip, nada, out. Not having it.
That would have been funny if I wonder if there was a scene, it was in the trailers, when they go stand out on the balcony and you see the cloud coming. I wonder if that was just a...
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really address the fact that there was, like, fiery debris raining down. Like,
yeah, because that's what I thought.
That had to hit somewhere. It had to be something.
But anyways, I think we went on enough about our personal thoughts, and I think it's time to get into the spoiler side of things. And
yeah, so here in a moment, we're going to get the spoilers. So if you're checking out here, like I said, I'm going for about a 7 on this one. But let us know what you think down in the comments. If you're planning on watching the movie, if you've seen the movie, stick around for the spoilers and let us know what you think there. Anything at all like that? Do you like the other versions? Are you a fan of the Roger Corman one? Well, shout out, he passed away like less than a year ago too. He was like 93. Yeah, anything at all like that? You know, let us know down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting help us grow the channel, and obviously subscriptions are the name of the game here on YouTube. So, and thank you to everyone that helped us get over the 500 subscriber hump recently. Hopefully you'll stick around for the next however many. So, yeah. But here we are into the spoiler zone.
So we kind of talked about the brief intro, and I actually liked it because they kind of did like a newsreel kind of thing, like an old TV talk show kind of thing, to talk about, you know, get you caught up to speed in a very short amount of time. And that was appreciated, and it was great because, like I said, it kept it to a bare minimum. And anything that was universe specific was kind of mentioned right there. And like you said, it mentioned that this was in a separate universe, what the universe number was.
Was it 828?
828.
828.
Because I guess that was this date of birth of Jack Kirby. That's what it showed at the end.
Okay.
Because it was like 828, whatever.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, no. So yeah, it starts off, you know, with that. They kept that short. They had Herbie.
Yeah. They did replicate the cover of Fantastic Four #1. With Giganto attacking from underneath, and you know the shot of him up above the street level and all the Fantastic Four hitting him all at once. And Mole Man actually became a recurring character in a few bits throughout the movie because they made peace with him, and like Subterranea just was like under New York, and apparently like an exit ramp somewhere takes you down there.
Yeah,
we find out like in the movie.
Which is funny. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure he would still be on their crap list, but I think they did. I think his adoration of Sue Storm was a common theme, which they did actually bring that into play to I guess, let them bus people down to the underground at some point in the movie.
Yeah. Now, he seemed to have like a bunch of regular people living down there. They weren't the Moloids. They were just people, from what I could tell, because we only see them a little briefly there. But yes, towards the end of the movie, their plan essentially involves luring Galactus, and the thing kind of points out, like, well, we're in the middle of Times Square here, Reed. Like, where do you think he's going to land? You think it's going to be right here? You think it's going to be, like, over there, and there's a whole bunch of people that live between here and there. Like, we need to move them because they're going to just get wrecked here. And so, I think, is it Sue that came up with the idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she convinces Mole Man to let everyone come underground and hide. So,
And that's where my comment that Mole Man needed to be a little bit more dirty because he lives underground.
yes.
He did have the glasses, though, so I do give him credit.
Had the glasses. And then we actually get mention of several other villains. We don't see them, but we get mentioning of them. They mentioned, well, they're fighting one of the super apes. And we'll talk about, they get mentioned a little bit more. But they mentioned Diablo, the Mad Thinker,
Wizard?
the Puppet Master. I think that was it. At one scene in the movie, it literally reads this like rambling off villain names, like, yeah, I got the cops out chasing these guys. And then they had the Future Foundation, and we see the empty seat for Latveria, so we know who's occupying that. But yeah, I don't know if they mentioned anyone else there. But then there's an end credit scene that's in universe. There's a cartoon for the Fantastic Four. That's where Ben's "It's clobbering time" phrase comes from, and he keeps refusing to use it. He's like, guys, that's only in the cartoon, you know. And I think it's even one of the trailers talks about that. And so you see a little montage from the cartoon. In the cartoon is the Red Ghost and the Super Apes. They're fighting them. They're fighting Dragon Man. Then you get to see the Puppet Master, Diablo, and I think there was one other one. As they're fighting them all in the cartoon is pretty spectacular in my opinion. Pretty fantastic, if you will. But yeah, so the only villains we really see are Mole Man, the Surfer, and Galactus.
And one super ape.
And one super ape that just gets like drop kicked into the East River. Yeah. Oh, no, there was also a Doombot in the cartoon, but not the ones that look like Doom, that more kind of look like small Sentinel Doombots. But yeah. So that's a lot of the shout-outs that we get. I've got the feeling there are some background characters that are probably known from the comics that I don't know. But no, and there was a nice tribute, a quote from Jack Kirby in the end credits. They definitely seem to go above and beyond on this one. Like most of the Marvel movies, like, oh yeah, this guy created it, you know, fuck him, keep going. But no, there's a quote attributed to him and his birth date and everything, and you know, it was a nice thing, you know. I mean, Marvel would not exist without Jack Kirby. Like, it's that simple, you know. I know Stan Lee is out there being the guy, and it wouldn't exist without him either. Like, you know, I'm not saying he didn't pull his weight, but he was a shameless self-promoter and always promoted himself above everyone else. So, like, still an important part of Marvel. I'm not trying to knock Stan Lee. You know, none of it would exist without him either. But yeah, no, Jack Kirby deserves a lot of recognition for Marvel and DC. You know, all the stuff with the New Gods and the Fourth World and all that stuff would not exist. And he put all that in a Jimmy Olsen comic for DC. Because he got hired by them and he's like, oh, do Superman or something. Like, no, here's Jimmy Olsen, have fun. And they're like, he's like, oh, all right, well, fuck you. Like, I'll just make my own whole universe over here, see what I care. And now, like, their whole, like, every iteration of their current universe is based on all the stuff he did. So, yeah. But yeah, so lots of tributes there.
So the one thing I like is, well, one is that we don't have to see about the financial woes of Reed Richards. They just has the building with a rocket pad or with a launch pad right off the back of it.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned that, well, at least when we were driving back, that the city is from the 60s, but there's like a mix of fantastic technology, but
yeah, like everyone's still dressed like it's the 60s. Like TVs still mostly look like 60s TVs and stuff like that. But like a more advanced version of 60s technology, which is not 70s technology. It's like if it kind of went along a different path.
It almost reminds me of the TVA.
Yeah, that definitely did have that kind of vibe. Because like Jim mentioned, there's some they aren't the only ones that have a flying car. Like the police had them. I don't know if anyone else had them, but that's who we see. There was the suspended trains that they had going on. Some of the buildings looked a little more futuristic here and there, and like that. There are subtle hints that clearly the things Reed has invented have found their way out into the wild.
But there is one thing that I'm like, that I was like, if Reed had this, and we're still in the technology era that we're in, there's something wrong, and that is, at a point they are trying to find Galactus because they get the note from the Herald saying, hey, your planet's set for destruction. It's time to kiss your loved ones goodbye and enjoy your time with them. It's over. That kind of thing. So, they decide to fly off after and see where Galactus is currently and to try to either talk with him, figure out a plan.
Well, first figure out what a Galactus is.
Yes. They didn't know they're just like, what is a Galactus?
Yeah. The Devourer of Worlds, in case you're curious.
And obviously my very first thought is, well, okay, they're going to fly, but where are they going to fly to? Because there's not any technology here or in the MCU that, besides the
jump drive
that can do that. Well, turns out they just pretty much have a hyperspace rain from
Star Wars.
to do faster than light travel, which I'm glad they use the FTL. Yeah.
Yes, they used FTL repeatedly until the final time when they said faster than light. And I know they did that just in case anyone in the audience is like, what the hell are they talking about? What the hell's FTL? So, that was a good way of doing it. So,
but my thought is, if he's got the ability to travel faster than light,
why haven't they colonized the solar system or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much nothing should be, unless there's some science mumbo jumbo where they can only barely use it or something. But
the real problem with that is that all of Marvel operates on that, because even in the MCU, why haven't they just replaced all the power plants with giant arc reactors? The technology's there. The technology, if you know where to look, you can still find it, like Vanko did for Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Stark would that's the kind of thing he would be doing. And it's just but it's not happening. And the movies could do it, and still things would still generally be the same, because that in particular is only electricity generation. That'd just be some things you see in the background.
Yeah.
But to your point, that's a radical change, and that's if that exists, what's going on here?
And that my big complaint with it, besides the faster than light drive, which I get the plot needed it, is that timing of things. Though they did say it took them a month to get back.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad that, we weren't sitting there for a month waiting for this, for them to travel there and back. The only thing I could think of is why it took a month is the time dilation from the event horizon.
Yeah.
But
not the ship, an actual event horizon.
Yes.
We didn't dip into the weird horror movies.
Yes, because there's a spot where they're flying around a black hole, and supposedly if you're in the event horizon, you're pretty much screwed at that point. But I have heard of some things where things have gone into the event horizon and have actually been spit back out because of gravitational forces, but usually circle back in.
I was going to say, unless I'm totally conflating things, don't black holes emit radiation occasionally, like a radiation pulse from everything that's being crushed down, if I remember right?
Probably.
And if that can escape, then I would think I think it's possible things could escape the event horizon if everything played out just right.
Yeah, but usually a ship. I mean, I've watched the black hole. I know you get pulled into the event horizon, you're done for.
That's when you have to hide inside of Maximilian.
Yes, and
if you're Reinhardt, and then you wind up in robot hell. God, that was an amazing movie.
But no, I mean, even then, traveling, through even faster than light. I mean, that's still going to take you some time to get anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
unless they're talking warp 9.
Yeah, like to Jim's point, because most people have no idea, just the concept of how big space is mind-boggling. When did we launch the Voyager probe? The 60s or the 70s?
70s.
In the 70s. It's now out in interstellar space. It's beyond Pluto. It is still not 1 light minute from Earth. Or from the sun, I think. Yeah. It is still not 1 light minute from the sun. Or something to that effect. No, that can't be right. It's a light hour, I think, or a light day. Anyway, the point is, it's still not close because it can't be a light minute. 'Cause it takes like 8 minutes to reach Earth. So Earth's 8 minutes. So it's got to be a light day, I think. But the point is that thing's been going for 50 years, and not in a straight line. It had to slingshot around planets and everything. So unlike that object that's entered our solar system, that in a few months will be at Mars because it's really booking it, and we have no idea what the hell it is. Probably coming for revenge for the manhole cover. You know about the manhole cover? So we did a nuclear test at one point, and I guess there was a manhole cover kind of cap on the thing. It's an underground explosion. And there's a slow motion camera recording it. And like, we're talking almost like nanoseconds per frame. It has one frame of this thing moving, and then it's out of frame, which means extrapolating its speed from that, it was going fast enough to achieve escape velocity. And it's probably just hurtling through space right now. Now, a couple physicists have said, it probably burned up because of friction, and it might have. Or it could be the fastest man-made object out there. It'll be past the Voyager probe if that's the case, because of how fast it was going. And nothing is slowing it down. So, yeah.
But no, and again, I get that time and distance and space just doesn't look good, because same thing, like with asteroid fields, and there wasn't one in here, but an asteroid field
would never be as dense as the ones in Star Wars unless it was just made. Yeah. Like unless it was Alderaan.
For the most part, being able to even see the next celestial body or anything, object in that would be...
Yeah.
Which, I get it. It would make for a very good movie if you were like, okay, well, the movie's going to be part one is them flying to Galactus, part two will be them coming back. But... that was really my only complaint, and I mean that's a minor complaint. That's just more of a, loosey-goosey with the science. But again, it's a fictional universe; they can do whatever the hell they want with it. So
yeah.
And if that's my only really major complaint, then that's not a bad.
Yeah. Well, my kind of complaint along that lines was things moving too slow. Like, why was Galactus moving at like sub-light speed? Just slowly cruising through the inner planets and everything. It's like, oh, he's out past Jupiter. It's like, he should be here in 10 minutes then. That's the way things work in Marvel. It's like, no, we got 3 months. Keep going. It's like, what? No, you don't. Like, why is Galactus moving stupidly slow?
Though it would have been interesting if their original plan would have worked.
Yeah, like I thought they were going to go for the original plan, and like that's how they're going to wind up in the 616 universe. Like Reed miscalculates and doesn't jump galaxies, instead jumps dimensions.
Or they could have pulled the Event Horizon and took the entire Earth to hell.
Yeah, that'd be how he ends up as the Maker. But yeah, so his original plan, like, there's earlier in the movie, he's like, oh, I'm working on this teleportation thing. And it's one of those, like, he may as well have been screaming, this is going to be important later. People pay attention. And because they don't put scenes like that in movies for no reason. This is what they call Chekhov's gun. It's where you put something in there, and the whole point is it's going to be used later, but you need to establish that it exists. And so, like, the expression is essentially, you don't put Chekhov's gun in there unless you plan on firing it. And no, it's not Chekhov from Star Trek, to be clear. It's a Russian character from a Russian novel. I don't know which one off the top of my head. But, yeah, so they're doing the whole teleportation thing, and their big plan is, well, wait, why don't we just move the Earth? And so they build these big teleportation towers everywhere, and, like, it's kind of working. And then the Silver Surfer shows up and blows them all up. So, yeah. And I think that was before Johnny pulled what he tried to pull, right? As far as the Surfer.
Which,
as far as like trying to appeal to the Surfer.
Yeah, they when that was because he did that. Oh gosh, there was because she was going to destroy the last one,
right?
And that's when he appealed to her.
Yeah, so they had been detecting these transmissions from space, an alien language, and Johnny had been listening to it. And whenever the Surfer first shows up and basically tells him, "Hey, your time's up. Like, make the best of what you got left, because it ain't much." He chases her up into the upper atmosphere, and she says something in her native language from Zen Law. And he falls back to Earth, and like he's like, I think I've heard this before. And he starts listening to the records. He's like, this is the same language. And while Reed's basically trying to save the world, this is what Johnny's little side mission is basically trying to figure out, And then once they go to Galactus' ship later on, he asks her, what did what you say mean? And she tells him, so now he knows how to translate at least one sentence, and from there he's able to begin extrapolating what the rest of it means. And it was the people of Zenn-La thanking her for making the sacrifice of becoming the Surfer to lead Galactus. That's the Surfer's background, is that Galactus shows up to Zenn-La. In normal continuity, it's Norn-Rad. Here, Shalabal's taken his place. Norn-Rad would normally, he would offer himself to become Galactus's herald, to find planets for Galactus to devour, so he's not wasting energy finding them himself. And in normal continuity, Shalabal is his girlfriend, or wife. I think it's his girlfriend. And so he leaves her and his planet behind as he's remade as the Silver Surfer. And it's not like it's depicted here in the movie where it's just like, oh, here's the board and you get like a coat of shiny paint. It's a lot more like in the Transformers movie when Megatron got turned into Galvatron. It's a whole new persona. Like the memories are in there, but it's someone else now, programmed to go find planets for Galactus. And like,
they really made her sound awful. Like, you're the one that picks the planet. She's like, well, yeah.
Well, I mean, so does Norn-Rad.
I know, but I mean, it should have been like, well, I pick planets that are suitable for Galactus.
Yeah. It's not like, well, screw you people. Like, no, Galactus has criteria, and the Surfer has to find them. And I know this was the case in the cartoon, and yes, there's a Silver Surfer cartoon. Jim's mentioned it a few times.
Oh
and
my
it
gosh.
ended on one hell of a cliffhanger that we'll never see resolved, unless we get a What If episode or something. It's probably on Disney Plus. You folks should check it out. Thanos is in it quite a bit too. So basically, he comes to Earth, and the people of Earth can't leave. Like, these other planets are galactic civilizations. Like, they can, for the most part, take off. And he comes to Earth, and the Earth people are like, well, we can't go anywhere. And he's just like, oh, well, that sucks. And in the comics, that's how they like appeal to his humanity, and he rebels against Galactus. And so here, Johnny plays. She comes into Times Square, and he's got a thing that's like starting to play him on all the TVs and everything. And she hears what it says, and he tells her that he's isolated what it means, and it's all the thanks. And he's like, well, I figured out what happened to you. And he's like, but these aren't the only recordings I got. I also got these from the people that you doomed to death. And starts playing those, and she, screams and takes off, because it's one of those, like, I'm sure she knew what she was doing, but being confronted by it is different. And so that's why what is obviously going to happen at the end of the movie happens. Whenever the big plan is to, once they can't move the planet, well, they're going to use the last one to just move Galactus. So they've got to draw him in, and they get him there, but like, he's fighting his way back out of the portal because, he's basically a god. And then the Torch is like, well, tell Franklin I love him, and it's going to go for the kamikaze attack to knock him in. The Surfer knocks him out of the way, and she knocks him through the portal.
Yeah, I don't think he would have been strong enough to...
Well, I mean, he hurt him earlier, him and Sue Storm are the two most powerful members of the Fantastic Four, because Johnny Storm can produce a nuclear-level explosion if he wants to. And she is a very strong telekinetic. However, I believe their powers are greatly amplified in the final battle, because I don't think she's strong enough to shove Galactus, which is what happens. Because, what you see of Galactus, yes, there's a physical form there, but it's like an embodiment, a representation. He is not that. He is an energy being, just like the Celestials and the Abstracts and all those characters. So his physical form, hurting it, doesn't actually really do anything to him, typically. It just kind of pisses him off a bit.
I wonder if he was there to eat the Celestial in the core of the planet.
Well, I mean, that's the Earth X version of events. And MCU has embraced the Celestials being in the cores, so, maybe that's part of the deal, too. But, yeah, so their plan is shove him into the portal, teleport him to the farthest reaches of the known universe, while his ship is in Earth orbit. So he'll have to just, float through space and just be stuck there till Doomsday, I guess. Probably literally. We'll see what happens in Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah, I did like when he landed on the planet, he, sniffs the trees.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, oh. Johnny's looking at him like, what the hell is he doing? I thought he was going to have a little, a little morsel before the main snack there, an appetizer. But no, he jumps down there into the bay and kind of looks over at the Statue of Liberty for a moment. It kind of looked like he approved and then just kept going and just starts smashing his way through downtown. But yeah, no, there's he was not, in that moment, he was not depicted as powerful as he is. Because, like, he can literally defeat the Fantastic Four with a wave of his hand. You know, like, this is a guy that can kill Celestials, like, with his eye beams. And so, yeah.
Well, and I think for some of that, he was just humoring them a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted Franklin, so he had to get him first before he just was like, all right, that's enough of you piss ants. And, you know, I think he literally called them insects at one point. But, no, I get why they didn't go with how they defeated him in the comics, because I was explaining it to my nephew. Awatu shows up, breaks his vow of silence, tells them about the ultimate nullifier, which is the ultimate weapon in the universe. Galactus has it aboard his ship. Human Torch goes, grabs it, gives it to Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic threatens him with it. By the way, it looks like a tape measure about this big. And so Galactus is like, no, don't use that. Like, I won't eat the Earth, but give me the gun back. That's the deal we'll make here. And so Reed gives him the gun back, and he keeps his word and he leaves until he comes back again later. In one particular bout, he came back and Thor tried to stop him and challenged him to a drinking contest. And although the drink had no effect on Galactus, Thor got quite drunk and Galactus was amused and chose to leave because of that. So, yeah. Or there's the cartoon where Ghost Rider stopped him with a penance stare. Because it's like, well, you know, you've killed like billions of beings, like, suck on this, and he hits him. He's like, oh, and then like starts shrinking down because he's like consuming his own energies. But no, I actually read an article like about a week or two ago talking about that, because like sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Like I guess in the comics for the most part it doesn't, because Galactus is just like, I don't feel bad about killing them. Like you're not going to make me feel bad about it because I legitimately don't feel bad. Because, like, there's a few villains that just doesn't work on because they just feel no remorse whatsoever for what they've done. And Ghost Rider's like, well, shit. The flaming chain is not going to help here. But yeah, like, I thought it was decent.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they focus on a story and, you know, things that everyone can relate to. And, yeah, and I think that paid off for them big time. I think their biggest missteps is that they try to inject way too much of the current situation that everyone's in, the world's in, into these movies, and really people want an escape from that, and I think this really worked out well for that. So I wanted more of the Red Ghost.
Yeah, I wanted live action Red Ghost. I'm not gonna lie, like I was hoping for that, especially since I saw the trailer that had one of the super apes in it. Like, but you know, we got the animated version. I can live with that. That's close.
Well, and
maybe the sequel.
And I'm hoping that the
Fantastic Four, second step.
Yeah.
Dubstep. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope they don't do something silly like that.
No, I shouldn't have even said that. Kevin Feige's going to somehow see this and be like, that guy's got a good idea. We're not going to acknowledge he said it. I'll say I said it, but let's do that. We'll put it in the 2000s.
That's like during the trailers, they announced, or they had the trailer for the third installment of the Now You See Me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do they call it? Now You See Me 3? And it's like, now you see me, now you don't. And I'm like, well, I mean, I guess I give them credit that it's, you know, different.
Need to be like the Alien franchise. Take all the possible options for how you deal with sequel naming and choose all of them. Because you go Alien to Aliens, you just add the S. Then you go Alien 3, so you add a number. Then Alien Resurrection, you add the subtitle. Prometheus, you just change the whole name of the movie.
Well, Resurrection's when your franchise is, you know, spiraling the toilet, and you're like, well, I got to throw a Resurrection in there or whatever.
Yeah.
Usually Resurrection's not the highlight movie. I mean, I like the movie, but
Chad does too. I don't dislike the movie. I just don't think it's a good movie.
No, I don't think
it's an entertaining movie.
I don't think
it's a good
I don't
movie.
think it's an alien movie. I mean, yeah, it's got aliens in it, but
that's kind of like Prometheus.
No, Prometheus isn't an alien movie. It's a engineer movie.
Yeah. And then the crowd is like, "Where's our aliens?" Ridley Scott is like, "All right, fine. Here's Alien Covenant. Here's Alien Romulus. Here's Alien Earth if you got Hulu. Coming out next month. Tell me how it is. I don't have Hulu. But looks good from the trailers, though. I'm going to have to find out how to watch that. I'm going to get Hulu for a month once it's all out.
Well, you can get it with Disney Plus.
I don't have Disney Plus. I'm using someone else's.
Make them get it.
Yeah. I tell you what, Jim, I'll pass that on to Sarah and see how she reacts. But no, if you do watch the movie, there are two scenes in the credits. There's the mid-credit scene, which that's the stinger for Doomsday. It's 4 years later. Franklin's older. Sue leaves the room. She comes back, and like she senses someone else is there, and you see a cloak. It's Doom. It's a cloaked figure there in front of Franklin with his mask off, but you don't see him. We know who it is. It's Robert Downey Jr. We know who it is. We all saw the press conference, but or whatever the hell it was. And then the one at the end is the cartoon that we were talking about. So
I was just waiting to see Franklin like building
altering reality at will.
Yes, like building a pocket universe in his.
Yeah. So like the movie hints around at this, but Franklin is an Omega level mutant. He's one of the most powerful mutants on Earth. He's a reality warper.
Well, I mean, the whole movie is, really why Galactus wants Franklin is because he's like, I want this to be my replacement, which is funny foreshadowing that he does replace Galactus at one point.
Yeah. And in Earth X, he becomes Galactus.
It's even better when he makes Galactus his herald.
Yeah. That's supposed to be like his 616 future self, supposedly, because he basically becomes like as powerful as like the Living Tribunal eventually. Which that is one step below like God Almighty, like the actual like
the one above all.
Yes, the one above all. Who Jack Kirby and all them will tell you is literally supposed to be like the God of Abraham, like God, capital G, creator and knower of all. But yeah, so I actually saw a little thing about that the other day, like the superhero texts, and someone's just kind of going through, well, like, what if you go rogue? Like, well, this guy will stop me. Well, what if they go rogue? Well, this guy will stop me. What if they go rogue? Like, well, then the Living Tribunal will stop them. Like, so it's just like an endless succession of super powerful heroes. No, it's like 5 guys. It's like it just ends with the Living Tribunal. But yeah.
But the one thing that really did surprise me is that there was no foreshadowing of how the crossover is going to happen at all. The only thing you could think of is the portal.
Yeah.
Which would be really bad if they threw Galactus into the 616.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I know I saw some people who mistakenly were under the impression that Galactus is like Darkseid, where there is just the one version, like throughout the multiverse. And people are like, no, there's a Galactus in every reality, probably, unless he's been killed. Because I know one version of the future, Thanos kills him, and I think it's without the gauntlet too. Just like blows his head off. It's like literally like. It's Galactus and Cosmic Ghost Rider, I think, are the two things standing from Thanos ruling all of reality at that point. He takes out Galactus and then gets Cosmic Ghost Rider on his side. Cosmic Ghost Rider, by the way, is Frank Castle, in case you're curious. Like, I think Frank Castle's probably the perfect host for the Ghost Rider, so. But, yeah, then Thanos grows a giant Moses beard and starts wearing a crown. Gets defeated by his younger self, because his younger self is like, even future self ain't gonna tell me what to do. Fuck off. Apparently that's how I didn't read it, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, one reality they use Galactus' corpse as a ship. Flying through space.
Yeah.
Zombie planet, when Galactus came to devour it.
Yeah, in Marvel Zombies, he sends the Surfer first, and the Hulk kills the Surfer, gets him in a bear hug, and bites his head off, and then starts eating him. And the other's like, no, Hulk, don't eat him, because he gets satiated, so he turns back into Banner, and like parts of Surfer are sticking out of him, because the Surfer doesn't shrink down like the Hulk does. He's like, Hulk ate too much. But yeah, then Galactus shows up, and is like, where's my herald? What have you done? And he's like, no, like, don't stop me. Like, I'm doing you a favor. You are damned, because they're all zombies, And he's like, trust me, it's better this way. And they're like, no, screw you. And Stark and the others like build some weapon to bring down Galactus. Then they eat him and get the power cosmic. So they become the Galactus. There's like 7 or 8 of them. And they just go out in the cosmos and start devouring planets. Yeah. Marvel Zombies, it's all over the place. Ash from the Army of Darkness shows up at one point. after the Necronomicon, convinced it's behind it all. It's not. But, yeah. No, the Earth X version is great. It is Franklin Richards, because Reed destroyed the real Galactus. He, like, got him entangled in his own machinery, so he's turned into pure energy, so he became a star. And, well, once a star is created, like, its energy begins to radiate outward, and Reed had no hope of ever recollecting it all. So he had to convince Franklin to use his powers to become Galactus, but he could never acknowledge he was Franklin after that point, because he had to do it like so thoroughly that he had to believe he was Galactus.
And there's also the one where Galactus gets switched into like the creator of worlds.
That happened in the 616 universe. I don't know whatever came about from all that.
And then Chaos and Order, or Master Chaos and
Lord Order.
Yeah, we're like, no, this can't happen. We need to have a devourer. And they like corrupt him, and then he becomes like some crazy.
Well, I know Earth X is where the idea of Shallow Ball being the Silver Surfer comes from. Unless it's in an earlier What If, I believe it's Earth X, because whenever Reed makes Franklin into Galactus, he also is like, you could be the kinder, gentler Galactus and primarily go after uninhabited worlds. So he does, and being a nicer individual, he finds Zen Law and transforms Shallow Ball into a Silver Surfer so that she can be the Norrin forever. She's not. She gets killed by the Celestials in the same issue she shows up, but, it's a nice thought. And then Galactus shows up and starts wrecking Celestials. He kills like 3 of them. It's great. Like, literally, he splits one in half with his eye beams while he's operating his machinery, and, he puts it all together and, kills the Celestial in the core. It's great. Earth X is a spectacular series. I'm going to do some videos on it at some point.
Yep. Well, I think this video is getting to a point where we're just rambling on about stuff that...
Yeah. I mean, I can keep talking about random comic book stuff all day long, but...
We need to save that for the podcast.
Yeah.
We can discuss these in some further details, but...
Yeah, there's a video I do plan on doing on Superman Red Sun. Talk about the difference between the comic and the animated version, and the fact that it's an excellent storyline. But that's for another day. That's also DC. I don't want to sully this Marvel talk with DC talk. The distinguished competition, as it's called occasionally in the pages of Marvel. I don't remember what DC calls Marvel. It's Marvelous something, but they do reference each other.
Well, and my big takeaway is that I'm hoping this movie is the beginning of a new chapter for the MCU, where things start going.
I hope so, but from everything I know about Doomsday, I believe they're already filming the movie and they only have a third of the script.
Hey.
And that is never a good sign. I shouldn't say never. Everything, there's always a first time for everything. And in a universe of infinite possibility on a long enough timeline, what can happen will happen. So we'll see, but I'm not enthused.
Well, anything where the scripts, dependent upon, each other movie coming out at the same time is... Yeah. That's where you get the issues of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm personally more looking forward to the Avengers Part 6 myself. That's the Secret Wars. Because everything's looking like it's going to be based on the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars, which is the best thing Marvel's printed in the last 20 years. So hopefully enough of it will make it over into the MCU version, because it is spectacular. And the whole thing hinges on the conflict between Reed and Doom, though, so fingers crossed. I still think that Robert Downey Jr. is only going to be Doom in one movie, and the real Doom is going to show up from another dimension and take him out and become the one in Secret Wars.
Hopefully. I don't mean that bad. I just mean hopefully.
Yeah. And I still think Mads Mikkelsen is the guy to do it. I think he could be Doom. I think he could do a good job. I know we already used him for Caecilius, but that was a total waste of a character, so I don't care. Well, I mean, no, you spent the whole movie doing this, and now you're a zombie. Congratulations.
Yeah, and the mindless ones have never made a...
Yeah, never made a comeback. We've never seen Dormammu again. Although there's only been the one other Doctor Strange movie, and it ended with Clea, who I think is supposed to be Dormammu's daughter, so I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, or not. Who knows?
Yeah.
I saw an article the other day. Benedict Cumberbatch was complaining about how much food they waste on Hollywood sets, and talking about how he had to eat 5 times a day to bulk up to be Doctor Strange. And everyone's like, oh no, what a shame. You had to eat a bunch of protein and gain muscle and like look ripped. Like, woe is you, millionaire. And it's like, give us a break.
Why did
Like,
Doctor Strange need to be ripped? What is
because he was more muscular than like default mode Benedict Cumberbatch. You know, because I mean, Doctor Strange does also like hand-to-hand fight. So, you know.
Yes, like when he got possessed by some entity so he could fist fight the World Breaker Hulk
Yeah.
and lose.
Well, I would imagine so.
Get his hands crushed.
I mean, that's like in D&D whenever the wizard's like, hey, let me fight this barbarian that's like 5 levels above me with no magic. Let's see what happens.
Well, he used magic in that fight, but anyways. How do you want to close this thing?
Oh, well, all right. Well, if somehow you skipped over the rest of it, I just want to reiterate, probably a 7. Worth watching. Definitely worth watching in a theater. Pretty good effects, you know, good sound, decent music. Yeah, you know, go check it out, folks. I said the same thing about the Superman movie, and I meant it. By the way, several of my coworkers watched it, and they all really liked it too. Like, I didn't hear any real complaints other than the one I had about the music. There's another guy I work with actually is like going to school to be a music teacher, and he agreed with that assessment. But yeah, I thought this was a little bit better than Superman. I thought it was better than Jurassic Park. Not better than 28 Years Later, but that's for a whole other reason. It's a whole other genre. I still think that's probably the best movie I've seen so far this summer. This is number 2, in my opinion, of the movies I've seen so far this summer. So definitely go check it out.
I'll go with that assessment. I haven't seen half the movies except for Jurassic Park and Jurassic World or whatever. And I thought it was good in its own right. I don't think it's not.
Yeah, I'm not trashing the Jurassic World movie. I'm just saying I thought this was the better movie.
Yeah, so. I think they have both their own merits. So I'm not going to rate one higher than the other one. But I would say this one is definitely worth going, and it gives me at least a little bit of hope for the MCU.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, no, I didn't see Thunderbolts, so I can't compare it to that. I'm hoping to rectify that in the next week or so. But because if nothing else, I'll watch it at Chris's during Gen Con. So, but yeah. So, and if you happen to be seeing this during Gen Con, like, we filmed it way beforehand, like, but, you know, there will be videos during Gen Con. I'm trying to film a bunch of back videos so I can boom, knock them out, have them up during Gen Con. So that's, from our perspective as we're recording this, that is a week from now. And there's this little problem of, like, having to sleep that prevents me from recording and then editing and then uploading and then all the other stuff that goes along with it. So I have to make the videos very short if I'm going to upload videos during Gen Con. And I'll make a big one at the end. But that's all a bunch of stuff you folks might not even care about. So anyway, that's all I think we've got for this one. So let us know down in the comments. If you go see the movie, what do you think? Are you planning to go see the movie? Do you agree that Jack Kirby is like the foundational element of the Marvel Universe? Do you disagree? If so, who do you think is? Do you think the creators deserve to get a lot more credit than they seem to be getting in these movies? Because I certainly do. Because, I mean, Stan Lee obviously got credit because he's in most of them. But, like, some acknowledgement other than a line in the credits would be nice. You know, maybe the thing at the beginning of the movie where people will see it. You know, like the old-timey movies. Anything like that, let me know down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting help us grow the channel. We always appreciate it. Subscribing, obviously, the name of the game here on YouTube. That's the way it is. And I'd like to thank everyone who helped us get over the hump of 500 subscribers a couple months ago. And hopefully you'll stick with us. If you're somehow stuck around all this time and you're really here just for Battletech stuff, don't worry, there's more Battletech stuff to come. And Jim is going to have some stuff related to all of this in the near future. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I think that's all we got. So in the words of Stan Lee, Excelsior.